Hello teachers, this is Kathy Moretka. I am the Director of Student Teaching and Field Experience at Hiram College. We met earlier in the term. If you are looking at this particular video right now, you must be thinking about completing the Clinical Experience Assessment form. The point of this video is to give you some pointers on how to complete the form and what the different scores mean. So you have had a Hiram teacher candidate in your classroom for the past 10 weeks, and hopefully for the past 8 weeks that teacher candidate has had the opportunity to plan and teach at least one lesson a day. So over the past 10 weeks you've been able to collect some information on the teacher candidate. Maybe you've completed our candidate observation form, or maybe you just jotted down and kept a list of the students' strengths and weaknesses. And now it's time to take that information and actually use it to assess the student. So the clinical assessment form is based on the 7 standards for the teaching profession, and it's also aligned to the InTask standards, and it's based on a 5-point rubric. My suggestion to you is to start at a level 3, and if the teacher candidate can meet all of the criterion of a level 3, then you can bump them up and see what they meet in a level 5. What I want you to notice is that in a level 3, we use words like displays some, demonstrates some, usually models, often recognizes, where in a level 5, it's saying it's happening all of the time, displays knowledge, expects that all students, models respect, so it's happening all of the time. So the difference between a 3 and a 5 is that in a 3, it's usually happening, it's sometimes happening, and in a level 5, it's happening consistently all of the time. When we complete this form, if we can get a student to have all of the level 3 bullets checked off, and you're able to check off 1 or 2 in a level 5, then that means the score that that student's going to receive is a level 4. If we have a student at a level 3 and we're trying to check off some bullets and we're just missing 1 bullet point, well, if we're missing 1 bullet point, that's going to drop them down to a level 2. At a level 2, the teacher candidate will be put on an intervention plan. The intervention plan basically just says what the area of weakness is and how that student is going to work to show growth in that particular standard. And they have the opportunity to show growth in that in either another clinical experience or it's just something we watch for in student teaching. So again, in order to get a score of 3, they need to have all of the bullet points checked off. To get a score of 5, they need all of the bullet points checked off. If there's something missing, even just 1, it'll drop them down to a level 4. So let's take a look at actually trying to score a particular standard. So if we take a look here at Standard 4, Standard 4 is looking at planning and delivering effective instruction that advances the learning of each individual student. So if we look at the criterion in a level 3, the criterion here looks at aligning the goals and activities with the current Ohio standards and school and district curriculum. So we're seeing alignments in the learning target, the activity, and the standard. And this is usually happening. There's usually alignment. You can see this information in their lesson plans, and you can also observe it in them teaching their lessons. So at a level 3, it's usually happening. At a level 5, every single lesson you observe is aligned with goals, standards, and activities. If we go down to the next bullet point, it talks about generally using information about students' learning and performance to plan and deliver instruction. So they, from time to time, or you often see them thinking about looking at homework assignments and saying, oh, they're pretty weak in this particular area, I'm going to continue working on this. Or after discussion with you, they've decided to alter their plans a little bit. That's generally using. At a level 5, it says that they're doing this all the time. So they're always thinking about where students are, looking at how they perform, and planning and delivering instruction to meet their needs. If we look at the third bullet point, the third bullet point says often communicates clear learning goals and explicitly links learning activities to those defined goals. So in the first bullet point, we see that they're trying to do alignment. In the third bullet point, we're actually hearing them communicate that. And so that would be stating their I can statements or writing down their learning target at the beginning, talking about how the activity they're doing is going to help them with that particular learning target, and connecting with that target throughout the lesson. The next bullet point talks about usually creates lessons that have anticipatory sets, engaging bodies, and closures. If this is our teacher candidate's first experience teaching, a lot of times you'll see that their plans have these anticipatory sets, lesson bodies, and closures, but when they're actually teaching, you might see that, wow, they are never hitting that closure. And that seems to be an area of weakness for some of our teacher candidates, just because they're still working on the timing issues. So you see that they're planning it in their lesson plans, but they're not often hitting it. That would put them at a level 3. A level 5 is that they have it in their lesson plans and they're able to, on a daily basis, hit all 3. They have an anticipatory set, they're engaging students with the lesson, and that they have some good, clear closures at the end of the lesson. And if we move down to the next bullet point, it says that they sometimes create and select activities that are designed to help students develop as independent learners, complex problem solvers, occasionally differentiating instruction. And then at the bullet point 5, we see that they're differentiating instruction as needed. So differentiation, again, is an area that our students are working on. So your teacher candidate might just be occasionally differentiating, and you might be asking that candidate to do more of that, or you would like to see more of differentiation happening. Also, when we talk about complex problem solvers, we're looking for some higher order questions, higher order thinking that they're giving to the students in the classroom. And then the last bullet point here, somewhat uses resources, including technology, to enhance learning, where a level 5 is effectively uses. So here, we're not just throwing in technology for the sake of technology, we're actually using it to help enhance student learning. We see them bringing in other resources. You might be sharing resources with them and say, oh, I use this. And so you see them consistently using those resources to help enhance the student learning. At a level 3, they're doing that from time to time. Yeah, occasionally they're using technology, occasionally they're using some other resources. At a level 5, you're seeing it often, and you're seeing it done effectively. So that is a level 4, or a standard 4. If we look at one last standard, we have standard 7 here. Standard 7 talks about professional growth and involvement as a member of the learning community. If this is their first experience teaching, they might be a little bit hesitant about being an involved member in the learning community. They'll feel pretty comfortable in the classroom, but doing some things outside of the classroom might be a little bit of a stretch for some of them. So if we look at the bullet points 4 and 3, we see that they somewhat understand and follow professional ethics, policy, legal codes of professional conduct. So when we talk about the professionalism here, we're talking about arriving to the placement site on time or before time, staying the entire time, not missing any days. They come prepared and ready to go. They're dressed appropriately. You see them using professional boundaries with their students. They maintain confidentiality with their students. And they're positive about their students. You don't hear them griping, complaining to other teachers. So again, in a 3, this is happening some of the time, often. At a level 5, it's happening all the time. Participating in professional development opportunities when they occur. Our teacher candidates, if they're in the building when you're having a professional development day, they should be in attendance. If they're there when you have a grade level meeting, a department meeting, again, they should be there in attendance. The differentiation between a 3 and a 5 is if at a 5, maybe they share some information, participate in the actual opportunity, share their experiences, share their thoughts. At a level 3, they're attending, but they might not be sharing so much. At the next bullet, we're looking at somewhat understands a teacher's responsibility to seek opportunities to positively impact teaching quality and student achievement. So them talking about looking for opportunities, talking about maybe attending a professional development outside of the regular day. There are some free technology conferences that happen. All of us here at Hiram invite our students to attend professional organizations, whether it's a GCCTM meeting, an OCTM meeting, an OCSS meeting, a language arts meeting. We encourage them to participate, and so them just being knowledgeable, or even of just learning materials, readings, things like that, is at a level 3. They somewhat understand that it's important to read outside of the courses that they're taking, try to stay up to date with changes in education. At a level 5, they're actually seeking those opportunities and trying to attend. The last bullet we have here at a level 5 is that they take advantage of opportunities to attend or participate in outside activities outside of the typical school day. So you might have a teacher candidate that decides to come to a school concert, they come to a sporting event, they participate in maybe a teachers versus students game, things like that. So they're taking opportunities to attend outside of the typical school day, and students are seeing them outside of the classroom. That's a level 5 if they do that. So standard 7 is the last standard we need to check off and score, and then after that you see that there are some boxes for comments. So here is your opportunity to talk about how the students are doing. So I know you've checked off some boxes, but if there's something that's missing, for example in standard 1, if you see that they really connect to students, they're out in the hallway greeting them, and you thought that was a great activity that they were doing and that you really liked seeing them do that and you would like to see them continue, you would want to write that down in the comments. If you felt like your student had a pretty good knowledge of the content, but they really seemed stumped by questions students that were asking them, maybe jot down some information about how they could better prepare and anticipate questions students might ask. In assessment, all these students are taking an assessment course. We encourage them to formatively and summatively assess their students. We talk about informal and formal assessments. We really share lots and lots of different types of ways to assess their students, and so we hope that they are using a variety of assessments. But if you see consistently that students leave the class and the teacher candidate has no idea what the students learned that day, that would be something you want to jot down, encouraging them to do exit slips or entrance slips, things like that. So we have an opportunity for you to write comments for all 7 of the standards, and that is pretty much a rundown of the clinical assessment form. So hopefully you found this to be a little bit helpful to you. If you do have any questions at any point in time, please feel free to contact me. My email address is Maretka, ke@hiram.edu. And again, we cannot thank you enough for working with one of our Hiram clinical students this term. Thank you.